Hi, Bence Tordai, economist, sociologist, and spokesperson for the Dialog for Hungary party. You sent us a very interesting statement naming a basic income an antidote for anti-democratic and illiberal, neoliberal policies, tendencies. Would you elaborate on that a little bit?
Hello, hi everyone. Thank you for the invitation. It's really an honor to be here. And yes, we have an Orbán-Regime here, and I guess you know a lot about it. We have pretty good press coverage, unfortunately, in Europe, and especially in Germany. And it's not just a hybrid regime, a mixture of an authoritarian and democratic elements. It's not just a state capitalism or a crony capitalism, a corrupt state, but it's also a really hardliner neoliberal workfare state, where let's say 1/3 of the population lives in poverty and 2/3 lives in existential uncertainty. And the political system uses the dependency of people. Let's say an example, and it's not my humble opinion, but the findings of two researchers from Yale University who published their study where they stated that one key of the power play of Orbán and Fidesz is that they use the public labor system to blackmail people. They blackmail the mayors of little towns and villages, and the mayors blackmails the public laborers and public workers to vote for Fidesz. And it's surprising that in the lower classes, the support of Fidesz is really wasted, I don't know, 70%. Although they are the people who suffer the most from these neoliberal policies, and still their dependency can be used or abused to push them into the base of the governing party or the state party, let's say rather. I think you're muted.
Yeah. Has to happen at any video conference, right? As you mentioned, we get a lot of coverage on that. Maybe you can also get us more coverage on how widespread the idea of a basic income is in Hungary, and do you have some success in getting those people you just described behind the idea and like turning it into a hopefully effective antidote?
Yeah, it's not an easy job. Dialog for Hungary is a relatively small party, 1 out of 6 opposition parties. We've been promoting our basic income program for 5 years, but I think now in this crisis, it gets more attention and more support. We have higher numbers of support and more other parties tending to support a basic income, not an unconditional basic income, rather an emergency basic income as a mean to somehow treat this economical crisis following the corona pandemic. So maybe there's a tipping point, but of course the government or governing parties don't show any openness to this thought. Yeah.
I would assume that they try to just frame it as a crazy idea. Philippe talked about a basic income on a European level from a very outside perspective, but I could imagine that especially for Hungary, that could be possibly a real game changer when also the people see the benefits of the European Union, not just see them, but if they become way more tangible. What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, I can hardly hear you, but I think that's why we joined this European Citizens Initiative. But to be honest, I'm okay. Probably it's easier to win this play in Hungary than in Europe. Now it's not just the story of basic income is at a tipping point in Hungary, but maybe the story of the Orbán regime as well. They hopefully are in a steep lands, a downhill way, and we have a united opposition. We have strong feelings in the society against the government, and they are really bad at tackling this crisis. So in 1.5 years, we have a good chance to win the elections. And the question is how many elements of the basic income program can be pushed through the other opposition parties. So that's what we are working on harder.
Okay, thank you. And of course, because we all wish you best of luck with that. Maybe, as you said, you have the upcoming election. Maybe you can give us a little bit more detail, like how you try to get a broader alliance.
Our basic income program, to be honest, it's not a real unconditional basic income, but rather somewhere between a UBI and a guaranteed minimum income. And it's also, let's say, it's structured into different parts, and I hope that we can go forward in specific social groups targeting the youth or the other people outside of the labor market and so on. Maybe we cannot succeed to push through a wide, broad, inclusive basic income program, but important elements of it can be part of the common governance program.
So, but if I understand you correctly, that you are right now proposing a not unconditional basic income is more or less as a way of getting more consensus. You would, in general, support the idea of a unconditional basic income. Did I get that correctly?
Yes, we try to. It's a modular scheme, and if we can put through some modules, it's a huge success from a small party. Of course, we still believe in basic income or unconditional basic income, but we have to be realistic. That's why we created a feasible and sustainable program, because we have to show up the financial background and so on. And yes, we have to fight with the skeptical guys in the opposition, the more liberal economists as well. So maybe in not in one term, but we can somehow implement it.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think that is probably true for every country. As much as we would wish to, we won't have a universal basic income overnight, but step by step. So thank you very much for these insights from Hungary, and best of luck also with your upcoming elections and all the other situation currently ongoing in Hungary. Thank you, Bence, and back to Wolfgang.
Right.